Hi guys, and welcome to another tutorial which is on a simple wallet I made as a test project. So the materials you'll be needing are lining, scissors, ruler, thread, binder clips, glue or gum, denim and leather, pen or pencil, interfacing, and velcro. So I cut out my pattern directly on my interfacing and glued it to my materials, which are denim and leather. Here are the measurements: 8 inches by 3.5 inches, which you'll need one of. Another measurement of 8 inches by 4.5 inches, you will cut out 2 of this. Measurement of 1 inch by 6 inches, you need one of this. And lastly, 1 inch by 2.5 inches, you need to cut out 2 of that. So I just went ahead and glued everything together, every single piece. So I'm done gluing everything. So what I do next is that I trim out the excesses at the ends. This is to reduce bulkiness while I'm sewing, since I'm working with a manual sewing machine. I needed to reduce the layers. Also, this wallet has a pocket, which is what the measurement of 8 inches by 3.5 inches is for, and that is what we're going to be working on next. So what I do is that I fold this rectangle, which is 8 inches by 3.5 inches, into half, just to get the center line, and I reinforce this line by using my ruler and pen, as you can see me doing here. So I just got folded it to get 2 equal halves. Now I'm going to measure half an inch on the sides. I also measure half inch on both sides of the center line. Next, I go ahead and measure 1 inch from the top of the rectangle, as you can see me doing. Then I draw a straight line on my marked areas. As you can see, I'm not drawing the straight line all the way through. That's from one end directly to the other end. I stopped after I marked my half inches on both sides of the center line. I also come down again and measure another 1 inch, and I'll be repeating the steps of drawing straight lines on my marked areas. Once again, the straight lines are not going all the way through, as you can see. So I actually have 4 straight lines. These are going to serve as pockets, which you can use in keeping your ATM cards or ID cards. So what I do is that I just open up the pockets which I marked with my straight lines, 4 pockets to be exact, and make sure you don't cut all the way through. As you can see, I'm only ending where those markings are. That's Those ones I used a 1/2 inch to measure from end to end and at the center and at both sides of the center line. So you see, so I have 4 openings. Now I'm just cutting out, I cut out 2 linings. The first one, it's covering just to the midpoint of this rectangle. Don't bother about the other excesses, they can be trimmed off after this process. So I just glued it to the center of this rectangle. This is to cover the 2 bottom openings. Now the next lining I'm placing here is to cover every part of this rectangle, and like I said, don't bother about the excess because I'm still going to trim it off after this. So just go straight to my sewing machine and sew those openings. I'm doing this to kind of prevent it from opening wider than I wanted it to open, or wider than I want it to open, and also to reduce fraying since it's denim. So I sew the first 2 openings first, then I turn the rectangle backwards, raise the first lining that covered everything, then I sew the 2 bottom openings. So I'm done sewing it, as you can see. So I just flip that first lining up again and then reopened them. You see, these openings were closed up because of the lining I applied. So I'm just reopening everything. So after reopening the 2 bottom openings, I close down the first lining and then reopen the 2 top openings. So now I'm just applying or attaching the final lining for this pocket. So what I do is I apply glue to the top of this rectangle, then I fold this lining a little bit at the top. Don't just place it in so that it doesn't start fraying later on. So I fold a little bit before applying, take to my sewing machine and sew the top, just the top. Remember, I apply glue to the sides and the down part, so I'm trimming out the excesses. You don't need to sew the sides and the bottom yet because you're going to sew everything once you join every part of the wallet together. I forgot to do something before I come to this process, this next stage. I was supposed to sew the dividing line of the rectangle, this pocket actually. So what I did was that I took it back to my sewing machine, raised that final lining I applied, and then sewed the middle just so I can demarcate the 4 pockets. There has to be 2 on the left and 2 on the right. So having divided it properly, I closed back my lining and continued what I was doing, which is placing the pocket on one of the rectangles, which is 8 inches by 4.5 inches. So that's me being done with that part. The next part now is to apply the strip of leather with measurement 1 inch by 6 inches. This is just for designing purposes, no functional purpose to this. So I just applied it, let's say at the center of this rectangle, not too close to the ends because I don't want to sew it while sewing everything together. So I just sewed it separately. I glued it first. Then I went to get my Velcro and attached it as you see me doing here before I trim up the excess and close it up. Then I take it to my sewing machine and sew both the strip of leather and the Velcro. Remember, you're not sewing the end of this rectangle yet because, like I said before, you're going to sew everything together. So these ends of the rectangle should not be sewn, and I didn't sew it. That part where the Velcro is, I didn't sew it. I just sewed straight, but not that end. So now I'm about to close up everything. I'm almost done. I bring out my 2 strips as the one of 1 inch by 2.5 inches. First of all, I take out one and then glue my Velcro to it. It has to be the same length as the strip here. Glue my Velcro to it, sew it before attaching it to the other strip and sewing both of them together. These strips are actually going to function as the lock for the wallet. That is when you close it, you just use it as a lock to close up when you fold the wallet, you just use it as a lock for locking it. Remember, you have to put this strip of leather, this wallet lock in between the rectangles, and it has to be in the exact same position as the design at the back or front of this wallet. Just know it has to be on the same position. After which you sew everything together, and I think this about sums everything up. This brings us to the end of the video, almost to the end actually. Remember I said this is a test project. I actually wanted to make a wallet with just leather, but I wasn't so sure how I wanted it to be. That was why I made it as a test project, and I kind of liked how it turned out. But the only thing is that this strip here that I served, this lock for this wallet is kind of too bulky, and it kind of made it sewing that part really difficult for me since I was using a manual sewing machine. So when I'm remaking this wallet, I'm just going to reduce that wallet lock. Those strips I used 2. I'm just going to make it 1 and use the Velcro to cover up the rough edges before inserting it in between the rectangle. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. And also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. If you have any questions, I'll be in the comment section. Thank you.